I hope you guys are as ready as I am to get into this wagon build. If you're new to the channel, welcome. For you guys that's been here for a little bit, I've got Miss Parker, the 1961 Buick LeSabre Estate wagon inside the shop now. So let's catch up on a few things. I'm just gonna go ahead and wait and put a cam in Whiskey in, a different cam. I don't like that one that's in there. And while I do that, I'm gonna get some roller motor stuff and do that. So it's outside and I've got a project going on over here, but let's get started on this. So I got the wagon in, I just drove it in. Patrick came over today and helped me go do this, that, and the other. So here's what really sparks all this. If you're new to the channel, let me just catch you up, okay? So field find, 45 years, whatever, la-da-da, we did a Will It Run on it. Go check it out if you want to. And the 364 in here, I did get it running. Now, it had been sitting for decades, so I lubed up all the cylinders and got it to run, put a new intake on it, a 313 intake, a Holley 800, an Edelbrock 800 AVS style carburetor, and I got a bunch of new parts from Matt and Russ, and I have put this back together. I got it back together, everything is done, I go to put coolant in it, and the freeze plugs leak. So what my plan is I'm going to pull this engine out with you guys. Y'all are gonna follow along on this. I'm gonna pull this engine out. I'm gonna go ahead and take the exhaust manifolds off, get to the freeze plugs, check them out, flip it over, get the pan off, clean the pan out, check it out while I have it all out where everything's accessible, okay? Then I'm gonna assess it, okay? I want this 364 back in here. This is a numbers matching engine heads and the original carburetor and intake I have hanging on the wall. It'll go with the car one of these days. It stays with the car, I should say. But in the meantime, I was thinking about doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that, and I started looking for a Nailhead engine. Now, if you guys know anything about Nailheads, they're not the easiest thing to find, but they are torque monsters, and I would love to have one in this old Buick, okay? We're trying to keep this kind of a period correct deal, okay? Found one, local. Good friend of mine, Kip, has Deuces Wild here in town. He does custom hot rods. And he has some spectacular stuff in his shop. He has a client that brought him a truck to do an engine swap because he's wanting to go all back forward. Had a Nailhead, he didn't know much about it, okay? So he went ahead and pulled the engine, got him a Ford motor. He's building it, putting it together, redoing some front stuff. Anyhow, he turned me onto it, got a hold of the guy. The guy's price was way too high. He come back a day or two later and we negotiated it out, okay? So I have a 401 Nailhead here. I want to show you that here in just a second. Also have the ST400 transmission. And this thing run and drove. This guy drove his truck to this shop. This Nailhead was running, I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago. It drove into his shop, shifted gears, start, stop. Very nice truck too. And a lot of those old Ford guys like Nailheads in there. Nailhead guys like putting them in Fords because they look good. They look cool anyway, versus having a modern engine. There's something about them that just is fantastic. And they're torque monsters. I don't want to get to rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and change positions with you guys. Welcome to the channel. Get you something cold to drink. And let me show you what I just picked up. I'm so stoked. All right, so I'm going to walk you guys over this for just a little bit. If you guys aren't real new to engines or don't know much about them, this is a 401 Nailhead. I ran the casting numbers that's on the front right here. Let me go ahead and show you guys that because somebody's going to want to know and I can be like, watch the video. So got the casting numbers, okay? And my first thing was, hey, let's pop the valve covers. These look exceptional. And I don't know if that gentleman, he said that he was never really interested in Nailhead, didn't want it in there, took it to the shop after he bought the truck. So I don't believe that he would have went through this. He said he didn't. He's like, I didn't even want to mess with it. You know what I mean? And I went in his shop today and he's got some really nice stuff. And engine work doesn't look like it's part of his forte. So that's how I get it. If you're looking in the valley, everything looks exceptional. I've stuck my probe down in there. I've looked in between the cylinders and I'm checking out the connecting rods and all that. And guys, there's no sludge. If you're looking at all this back up here is in like a pile. Okay, that is a pile of sludge. There's some sludge in it, but This is excellent. You know what I mean? Like, what a relief. So, here's our front. That's our water pump. That's the timing cover. Look how nice. All the bolts have came out. We haven't had one bolt break. Okay? Water pump. We start looking inside the heads. Look like we're looking inside there. It's not too bad, like, anywhere. So, what a score. So, I'm going to flip you around. I'm going to show you the casting numbers, and let's go take a look at the wagon. Everybody's always asking about the wagon. So, head number 1, which would be the driver's side. Head number 2. Oh, it has Petronix ignition on it. Guys, and to get this and the transmission for what I paid for it, which was a good bit of money. However, what a deal. Knowing that it was running and driving. He drove it to my buddy's shop, and my buddy's not going to... He's not going to tell me anything different. And it has they painted that, so it's not actually chrome, but chrome one wire, chrome valve covers. Of course, I don't like this bracketry. I'd rather have all the bracketry off of the 364 in the wagon right behind you that I'm about to show you. A lot of this, I think everything swaps over. I'm not too sure on that, so don't quote me, but I think everything swaps over. So I'm going to continue tomorrow. I've got to fill up my propane tank, get the rocker shafts off, get the heads off. I've got new head gaskets and everything here, guys. Get the balancer off, timing cover, flip it over. I've got to get bolts in the morning for my new engine stand and pull the pan off. So I'll bring you in with all that, and while you're still excited and it's still new, let me go show you Miss Parker. All right, it's the next morning. I want to go ahead and get into this. Hey, Gordon, thanks for this, dude. It's a thing that's used all the time. And it's funny because I see them and I was like, I'd never use that. Always use it. Oh. We're going to go ahead and get these exhaust manifolds off. And I'm also going to go ahead and bring you in. I'm going to use my little probe. And I would like to, once I get the exhaust manifolds and the spark plugs out, I want to go on top of each piston, or at least a few of them on each side, and take a look and see what our cylinder walls look like. Okay, I also want to get my little probe and get down in here and show you guys some pictures or video of the connecting rods, because man, it looks so good. So I'm going to go ahead and start busting some stuff off, and I'll bring you guys along with me. I will go ahead and get this thing rolling in a lickety-split, and let's start tearing this thing apart. Alright guys, so up until now you just seen me spin that stuff out. I'm going to show you something, and this is where I'm kind of going to stop on this rebuild. This is a push rod, guys. This thing is absolutely brand new. The bottoms of those pads on those rocker arms look exceptionally well. And I'll show you guys all of this here in a little bit. I'll go into there. But I just wanted to show y'all right off the bat, there's no scuffs, lines, wear marks, nothing. Those intake bolts that hold the manifold on, or the manifold bolts, they just came right out. Did you guys see that? Rocker arms, I did remember once I started, you got to go little bit, get them off, or the rocker shafts. Those look brand new, so I'm gonna leave those in there for now. I was gonna go ahead and take them out because I was wanting to pull this head. Now, the rockers themselves, the lifters, they look brand new. I'll show you guys that in a second. But we're gonna jump back into a time lapse, and I'm gonna go ahead and start getting this front off, this starter, and that little mount that's down there. I'm gonna get this a little more done. I was gonna pull these heads, but I'm gonna probe them and see. If I see cross hatching in there, cool, I'm done. Is it bored over? I don't know. Cross hatching would tell us kind of that it's a fresh machine surface. I can see the piston skirts on the other side. I'll show, or on the inside, I'll show you guys that. But hang out, we're not quite done yet, and then we'll do a recap. Guys, I just stuck my video board down in these cylinders. Holy smoke, guys. So you can still, puppy, you can see the light reflecting off the top of the piston. It has a little bit of soot on it, but it's shiny. All the cylinder walls look brand new. I don't know how I can do that. I may bring you guys in here in just a bit when we get it a little deeper. But this has no pitting, no nothing. Every one of those cylinders are like that too. What good news. So with that, I'm not gonna pull the head. Let me mention this. It looks like there's an S or a 3 on top of the cylinders by the valve relief. So to the inside of the cylinder where the valve would be, the valve relief, it's like right there. It looks like an S or a 3. And it's not stamped in like a bore, but more of an embossment, like a factory stamp of some sort. I don't know. But I did notice that, so that's worth mentioning. I'm gonna go ahead and get this run apart, guys. Guys, I'm taking these things off, the front pulley bolts, and I wanna show you guys how easy this thing turns over. If I try to do this, you know, like a ratchet, look how easy this turns over. If I can keep the socket on it. Let me keep it straight. Anyhow, this thing just spins like there's no trouble whatsoever. Look at this. Hear those pistons? Guys, y'all remember earlier, if y'all watched any of my videos, this is kind of funny. It just dawned on me. Remember earlier when I was doing the will it run on the, actually it was the second video when we were putting the thing together, in front of the engine together on the 364, and I bought a water pump and it was the wrong one. That water pump would have fit on this. If y'all remember in that video, I was cracking a joke and I said, I will buy an engine to fit a part. That's not why I did this. However, that water pump, funny enough, would have been the water pump for this. So just kind of funny. Anyhow, we're gonna continue on, guys. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. I can't wait till I can get it up on the stand, flip it over, and we get that oil pan off. So we're nearly there. Man, I hope this battery's charged. Yes, it is. I want to bring you guys along. There's going to be some catching up, and I am just more pleased and more pleased as we go. I'm going to get you guys set up here. We're fixing to see the pan at the same time. Let me get you down a little. Let me see if I can get you in a little closer too. This is always so exciting. I kind of have my theory, and I'm going to keep it to myself. Not for any instance like, oh, you don't want to be wrong. I think I already know, and I don't want to ruin it. Good sealant all over it. Nice and tight. I'm going to have to get the hammer and give it some tappity tap taps. Guys, I'm so excited about this. Makes me so happy. Happy. Let me get my oil pan chisel. And if you don't have one, you probably should. Just an old beat up chisel with no sharp ends on it. Kind of blunted at the end, but works great for this sort of stuff. There it goes. She's letting go, boys. Okay, and I still have one bolt in here. That's us. Let me pull that last bolt out and we're gonna look. Go. All of these were pretty snug too. Every thread that I go through, when I put that the chain for the engine hoist to get it up on the stand, I can thread those bolts in that whole head. Like, it goes all the way. It's so surprising. Oh, anyway, I'm rambling. Let's look at this right quick. Okay, oil pickup screen is a little dirtier than I thought. I see a few piston skirts that look good inside the cylinder walls. I see a little flash rust, a little oil scoring. All right, let's take a look. Let me get a flashlight. We're gonna walk through this together. I'll get a screwdriver too so I can point to stuff. GoPro, stop recording. All right, so let's take a look. So gasket stuck on some material or on some of it's on the pan. Pretty chewy. Okay, main caps. No blue, no purple. Everything has oil coated on it. Awesome. I'll bring you guys in. The connecting rods look pretty good. All the main caps look good, like where the journals, all the oil coverage is the same. It doesn't appear that any one of them is run hot. There is a good bit of carbon in here on the sidewalls of the engine block, but not bad. The bottoms of the pistons, this one has a little bit of, it's not as shiny as the others. Well, two. This one is a completely different looking. Oh, I see a ton of cross hatching right there. I see a little bit of skirt slide on it, on the bottom of the cylinder wall, which is going to be a little common, guys. That's what that is. There's a little skirt slide on that, but all in all, that looks great.
My video got flagged for having Stone Temple Pilots playing in the back. What I'm doing right here is I am just really taking a look at the engine. You know, as I turn this over, what I'm looking for is, let's say, like skirt slide, you know, where the skirts of the pistons are running up into the cylinder walls. I'm checking out the connecting rods. I'm seeing if I can notice anything right off the bat that would indicate that this had been run hot or has a fracture, that sort of thing. A lot of times when you have bearings that go bad, they get hotter than the others. And something Kyle taught me years ago is if they get hot, it tempers the metal and oil doesn't absorb into it, and it does this and that, so it'll look dry. And a lot of times, if it gets too hot, it'll turn purple, pink, discolored. So really, I'm just looking down in here best I can, back and forth, turning it a little, and seeing if I can notice anything that's discolored, that looks different, out of place, that sort of thing. So really, it's just an inspection. You can see right there on top of that oil pickup, the thing right there next to the light, that it does have some debris sitting on top of it. Nothing that's alarming. None of it was metal. It was just like, carbon gunk and that sort of thing. But, right here in the original video, I was telling you guys how good it looks and how pleased I am with it. So, everything seemed to be working out. I tried using that to see if I could get the lash and see what it is. Of course, it's going to need to be something bigger. And I don't know what's recommended on these. I think small block Chevrolets and stuff are like 5,000, 7,000. I figured something like that. But I'm just kind of eyeballing everything. And inside, I'm just happy as a duck with a June bug. It looks so good. And I'm very, very pleased with it. I do believe that I'm going to bring you guys in and show you what I'm looking at so that y'all can see it as well. The discoloration part, that's going to be typical and normal. See down in there that piston sleeve. But look how nice the connecting rods and the stuff on the side of the crank. See how the crank is a different color out there than the main caps? That's good. It shows that it doesn't have just a ton of stuff built on it. Hey, there's that. Did y'all see the oil pickup and filter housing? But anyhow, I'm just walking through this, guys. I'm going to show you all the outside of it. Very pleased with it. Those two oil drips right there, when I pulled that head off, those exhaust manifold bolts that you see right there, they came out and there was a little bit of oil on each one of the bolts. So I don't know if the heads were done, they got into the valve guides, or if I've got piston rings. But anyhow, that'll be a concern. I'll check that out. But so far as what we're looking at, I am so pleased with it. Here in just a second, we're going to jump on the other side there and kind of give you guys an idea of what's happening over there. I think all in all, I'm especially stoked for it. You can see where the head gasket had some new material down there. That's what I was like, shoot, this thing's been redone. But curiosity will kill you. Little dirty.
Let's go to this side. Little dirty, but having an oil filter on there. And the oil filter was a Wix. I've got it sitting over there in that little tub. A Wix filter. But guys, this isn't bad at all. As a matter of fact, I am stoked about it. It looks so good. So yay me. Hey, let me show you guys a few things from over here. Okay, someone just sent an email. This is the inside of the valve covers. Okay, we're just gonna kind of walk through this a little slow. There's the rockers. Okay, so I've got some guys looking into what caused that. We're thinking, it makes sense that it would be that, but I just put some dirty marks on there. But that has not been damaged, which they could have switched it out, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna get those rebuilt anyhow. Water pump, we've walked through that. Let me show you guys this dipstick. This is amazing. Look how clean this thing is. And you're like, maybe a repop, and you're like, then you get up here and you're like, no. If it was a good one, and it's been sitting in the shop for a while, because that's where that stuff comes from. That's dirt that cleans off there. But it accumulates over years. Look how nice that is. Okay, there's all my push rods. We got those in order. Let me show you the lifters. Look how nice these are. Let me get out of the sun, or out of the light there. They all just slid right out. Distributor, it's got some letters on there. We're figuring that out. Delco Remy. I was questioning if this gear is just a little worn. Let me show you guys. And so far, nobody's really responded and said, "Oh no, you're good to go." But it don't look too bad. And maybe it's like a starter in their Bendix. They have little slots to make it easier. Delco Remy looks like maybe a wire, a T3H29. So there's that. Starter apparently has been rebuilt, which is fantastic. The Valley pan and a Harley Davidson carburetor that my nephew, he dropped his bike and busted the bolts off in here, and I'm digging them out. I've got that one where I can turn it now with 2 picks to draw it out, and I've got to hit that one. But anyhow, man, that is such good news. So we're gonna get back into some more stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and button up the loose holes on this and put the pan, a few things back on, just a couple of bolts so that I can clean it and start doing the outside stuff. But guys, we're rolling with this. I am itching to pull those heads off because I'm like, oh, I want to see inside the cylinder wall. So I'll probably do it. But I do want to make sure that I have the right gasket set here. I do have one for a Nailhead, and I think they're all 364, 401, 425. However, so much Buick stuff switches back and forth, and you never really know what years. I mean, water pumps, everything's changed. It's like, it's crazy. Matt and Russell know what's up. So I'm gonna make sure I have the right gasket set. I got the engine numbers off here before I'm sitting here before I pull the engine out of Miss Parker and start taking my parts off, because when the gasket set gets here, I can put this back together. I want to have it clean and ready for paint. Let me flip you around. Clean and ready for paint, so that when I pull the carbon intake off this, I set the carbon intake on that. I'm using the same paint color, everything. When I pull this off here, you know, the cap and the rotor and the distributor and all that, I'll make sure this is in top dead center. Bam, set that in. You know what I mean? Just bam, bam. So that's the plan. We'll have that one moved out of the way, and then we'll have this one and just whoosh, right in here. So, and this isn't going to be a terribly fast project, but it's not going to be too bad. So everything's available. I'm going to get back to work. I'm gonna go ahead and get these heads off now. Just a minute ago, you heard me say, nah, I'm just gonna leave them on. Guys, I have the head gaskets. I really wanna see inside those cylinder walls and check that out. And this would be a step that, I mean, you don't necessarily have to do it. However, I'm real intrigued by this. And a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. I wanna see inside the cylinder, because that's the heart of it. So I'm gonna get busy right quick. I don't have enough battery space in my GoPro to do a time lapse, so I'm gonna bring you guys with me until this thing shuts off. That noise in the background is my extractor, and you can hear it pulling air now. It's pretty much just pulling bubbles. So I think I've got the transmission drained out. I did go ahead and hit it this morning with the wire brush on a grinder, so it's sitting behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's nice and shiny, but let's hope like hell we don't snap off any bolts. Now, I think in a lot of instances, people talk about torque sequences, putting them on. it's not a bad idea to do it in the same torque sequence when you're taking them off either. I found that out on those rocker shafts. Okay, that one's already moving. Good, good. Cool. So I don't think those are head bolts. Yes, they are. Remember, we had Patrick. So far, so good. You'll know when you get them because you'll feel all the pressure and all of a sudden you hear that crack and your breaker bar don't slide over. You're like, sweet. There's a different crack for doing this. That one was a little loose. That's on the bottom of the exhaust right there. A little loose. There we go. And after this, I'll come through here. I want to make sure that they go loose like that. And I'll come through here with a impact and pull all these out. You guys ever listen to a gentleman named, well, I don't know his name. I think it's called like Red Creek something. Old dude with a beard. Man, he spits some wisdom. I've seen him on Facebook and stuff. He always has good things to say. I didn't know he had a YouTube channel. So that was kind of cool to see. All right. So we went down the center, got those three. Those two, that one and that one. One more to the outside. Yeah. Oh man, it's cold today. Tomorrow's gonna be like 4 degrees. There's a big storm blowing in. I got both propane tanks filled up. And I was like, I want to get this done to where I can clean this and it can sit out here in the cold for a few days and dry. Meantime, I've still got to run my heater to my pump house, which is just like 80-foot extension cord. But anyhow, while it's cold, I'll sit on the patio. I don't know if any of you guys ever smoke cigars, but kind of nice to get out here on a cold day, turn off the radio, get some stuff done, clean up some stuff, clear your head, that sort of thing. So I find value in that. And I don't know if you guys understand how happy I am to have found this engine. I think I've already got that one, yeah. But I am stoked. You guys, if y'all are new here, man, jump on that first video when I got this, and you'll hear me ranting and raving about why I want a Nailhead. You can't have something like this. Let me give you a scenario. I've built a lot of cool Pontiacs, mostly in the hot rod flavor, like shiny paint cars, but very nice. And I usually will wind up stroking them or doing something, putting nitrous on them. And I've always lost my ass. I bought a 76 Trans Am about 8 or 10 years ago from a kid that was getting evicted from an apartment. He had taken all the brakes off, couldn't remember how shit went back on, got evicted, had to get out of the parking lot that day. And I just happened to be on, it was Craigslist then, and he just posted it up. And met him over there and bought it. Well, anyhow, this was an all original 1976 Pontiac Trans Am with 400 6X heads. Very, very neat car. It was rough, and I had to do a lot of work to it. However, I went ahead and Gino was still doing interiors here in town. If you're from Amarillo, you know who that is. He did the seats. You know, I bought the nice kit, and he did all the seats, and I did the carpet, pulled the dash out, put a new dash in. Same thing I did to the square body, really, and just go through all of it. But I did go ahead and shiny paint it. And a lot of this stuff, guys, I do myself. And this is why I want to know. I don't know anything about this. It's a Nailhead. I'm kind of clueless. However, I'm too stubborn to quit. But anyhow, that Trans Am, being a numbers matching car, brought me my biggest payout on anything that I've done. That car made more money than a lot of the houses that I sell. It was incredible. So anyhow, I'm not going to put a Chevrolet motor in a Buick. And I think you guys would probably understand why. You know what I mean? It's just not something that you do if you have one that's this complete. If it was already smoked and kind of trashed out and all that stuff, it wouldn't bother me. But I've got everything working on this thing, so I really want to keep it Buick and to get a period correct 401 and ST400. That's cool, especially when it was running and driving into my buddy's shop, and it does real well, and it doesn't smoke, great compression, that sort of thing. So taking it apart like this is going to let us know, did he get bored over? Did they do this? Did they do this? Seeing the cylinder walls is a big help in helping you determine whether or what you have. And when I have the gaskets here, I'm like, I already got the rockers out and all this and that. This is a little bit of work. However, it's easy to clean the heads, do this and do that. We can blow it out and clean it out without worrying about it falling down in the engine, because I don't want to pull the connecting rods and all that. But my curiosity kills me, and I sat there and thought about this yesterday, and I was like, I just got to do this. So if you guys are still here and you're listening, that was kind of a ramble. But car guys, you probably get me. If that made any sense to you, leave it in the comments. I'll put it there. I try not to do a bunch of rambling on here, but I'm a talker. And I think a lot of you guys already know that. That went out. I'll probably have 2 cigars today. Those Rocky Patels, they're never my favorite. I'm a Drew Estates guy, and I like some of the CO stuff. Drew Estates has always been kind of a go-to for me. Oh. Let me get this one first. Got that one, that one. Yeah, there we go. Now those were snug down right. Those 3 on the other side, these bottom ones on that side, they didn't feel like that. They seemed like they were a little loose. Okay, got those 3. Now we're back up here. Oh. Oh. And I do need to take pictures of where these head bolts are. I know where the bolts go, but they're studs. I guess I can just make a mental note, but pictures help me more because I forget a lot of stuff. Oh, guys, not one of them snapped off. We're already in the gold. Remember I was telling y'all earlier too, on these intake runners, these bolts, I can take a bolt and go down every one of these holes till that bolt is bottomed out. Isn't that incredible? That's why I was like, somebody's got to have went through this. Like all these freeze plugs on the heads, on the block. And of course, I'll show you guys right before I paint it. But what a good looking engine. Oh, I think I already got this one. Oh, there we go. Got that one. Oh. My little Harbor Freight stand straight up with this on there too. I figured it was gonna lean it over. I'll tell you one thing, you know, I got that cherry picker for a Christmas gift, and it's a 1-ton. Guys, if you're gonna, I mean, that helps. But I had a 2-ton in here, and it was one of my good friends, and he needed it, so he took it back. It was his to begin with. Man, I did probably 10 or 12 engine pulls or swaps on that thing, and they're just bigger. This little one is gonna be hard to get it up in a big truck or anything like that. There we go, guys. All right, I think we got them all loose. Like I said, I'll come through here and get all these taken out, and I'll bring you guys back. Let me get these off. I may put you guys in a time lapse because these are going to be beefy, and I got to clean up the table, of course. You know how sometimes you're that, well, how do they say that? It's pretty good. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Let me see, I think Dix wants to go outside, guys. Just go. Just go. She's a bee. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Let me flip you guys around, man. Let's jump right back into this. So you see me when I pulled everything apart. This is that transmission, guys. This thing had a brand new gasket on it, brand new filter. I don't know if the gentleman changed it. He said he just got the truck, drove it around for a few weekends, and wanted to go back all forward. He had the money to do so, and when I seen the truck, I knew that this is probably pretty nice stuff, and I knew the gentleman that had it prior to him. So, very, very, very pleased with the 400. I'm going to get a gasket kit on the way. When it does that, I'll go ahead and pull this filter off, pop that out, and we can go from there. But if you're looking at this, keep in mind most transmissions, or all transmission fluid is a detergent. They stay very clean. That's why water in one is such a bad idea. So you never want to power wash the inside of one. Anyhow, if we're looking at the valve body, man, everything looks great. I mean, I was stoked. I was stoked to see it, all my little springs. I mean, if you open this up, you're like, yes, right off the bat, you already know that you just won, okay? Took out the pan. You can see a little shiny spot. That's where I went whoosh with my finger. So there's a little bit in there. We'll clean that back out, put a new gasket on that. Go ahead and put new front and rear seals on it. Get everything done. Probably change out the accumulator and see if we can get a smaller one on there. However, such a clean unit, okay? I just degreased it, power washed it yesterday, drug it back in here, and I wire wheeled it this morning. So our ST400, 5 stars. Okay. Cylinder heads, I've got those off. Let's take a look. So newer Pro gaskets, bam, bam, we're there. There's our gasket number. So 7922-1. Pull these gaskets off, man, they look amazing. Both sides, very good. Okay, so we're pretty happy to see that. You take a look at the cylinder heads, look how even the burn is in this. Isn't that nice to see? You know, when you're looking at this, you can see if the spark plug holes are marred up, anything. Guys, this thing looks fantastic. So pleased. I will clean up this head. We're not milling it, anything like that. If you catch this at an angle, you can see lines everywhere, like if you hit the shiny side. So we know that this head was done. And let's move to the next one. Now, looking at these, excuse me, 4 cylinders. Excuse me, this one's burning nice. This one, see how it's a little shiny? Maybe a little rich, vacuum or something going on in the intake on that side. And these two, maybe something going on, I don't know, they're a little sooty. So something could have been happening on that primary, on the carburetor, that sort of thing. So we'll watch that. Keep in mind, we're going to put these back on, and we've got the 313 intake and AVS 800. We've got some nice parts to put back on this set of heads, okay? And now, Nailhead guys always talk about, hey man, make sure you pull the pan because they're always full of sludge. I'm sure that 364 in the wagon, I know it's full of sludge. I'd be willing to bet you. This isn't sludge that's built up that high. There's a dent in the bottom of the pan. I'll put that on concrete and beat that back out. But guys, if we're looking at this oil pan, man, what a relief, you know? That makes me feel wonderful about it. All right. Now, let's get into the engine block. Man, a short block, this thing looks great. The cylinder walls got a little lip on it, a little ridge. You can see if you catch, see if you can see it with the light reflecting off of it. See all the lines in there? This was milled. Same thing on both of the heads. They're on there. So we know that this thing went through a machine shop. You know how much better that makes you feel about a purchase that I really didn't have the money. I had to do some buying, selling, and trading, or trading, selling, and buying. Yeah, trading, selling, and buying to get this set up. So pleased with the investment of it. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and pull the balancer off. I need someone here to help hold the rear of the engine while I take the crank bolt out, get the balancer off. Then I'll get the timing cover off. We just want to see that, guys. We can assume that this is a fresh water pump or a fresh housing and this, that, and the other. I put this back together. I want to know, you know what I mean? I don't want it to leak. I want it to be right, that sort of thing. Guys, we're already there. You know, we're going to do it. Kind of like the cylinder heads. We could have left those on there, and originally I was like, I don't want to do it. And then I was like, I would be wondering about that the whole time I own this engine, and somebody would be like, is the engine rebuilt? I don't know, you know, never, you know what I mean? Now I can go, yeah, there was some hatch marks in there that looked really good. No scoring, the skirting looked good. Had a nice small lip, freeze plugs looked like they were new. Transmission, you know what I mean? We have an idea now, guys. We can talk shit because now ours is just that much better. I did notice something on the block. I won't flip it over to show you, but on this flywheel, there is, excuse me, hope I'm not getting sick. There is a tooth missing on that flywheel, so I'll get one of those on the way as well. And it looked like at one point in time, maybe the starter bolt was too long and went through, or something went on, but it looks like it was hitting the flex plate. I'll show you all that at another time because you can see it from the top, not the bottom. And it's cold and I want to get inside. However, so we've got all our parts. This is all taken off. That's matched. Let me show you guys this. This was kind of crazy. So my brother Johnny come by yesterday and we're looking in it. We found two things in here, okay? I have something in my throat. I just had some biscuits. So if you're looking at this, you guys already, well, some of you know what this is. Some of you may not. So there's a little piece that's broke off right there. But this is the inside cup to a lifter. And he found that, so we flipped the engine over. I'd never heard it, but he was checking the skirts on the pistons and moving them up and down and going through each one of the cylinder walls, nerding out on it like I do. And this was sitting in the cup of one of the pistons. One of the pistons, sitting in there, like the piston is facing down, the skirt is up. This was sitting inside the skirt by the wrist pin. So that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And I was like, glad we found that. Not that it would get sucked up, but I'm going to put some heavy-duty magnets in there to catch anything. But anyhow, this was in the engine. Now, if you're looking at this, can you guys see that? Can y'all tell me what that is? Go ahead and put it in your comments. I'm going to flip it over and you'll know exactly what it is. And tell me how a leaf will sit inside a valley. It was stuck in the back corner up here. Right there. A leaf. Really? You know what I mean? Is that possible? This thing has been inside. It hasn't been outside. Like, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and make it brief. I'm going to make this the end of this video. If you guys want to see more, I'm going to go ahead and get the gasket kits on the way, and then I'll be putting that back together. I'm going to paint it and all that stuff, of course. but I got to spend a lot of time getting it clean. So that'll be the next one. That's where I'm going to end this one. I'm trying to keep these videos nice, short, and sweet, and to the point. If you guys are new here, man, I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your day and checking it out. And if you felt any, let's say, if there was any value in it, if you learned anything, man, I certainly appreciate a thumbs up, that sort of thing. If it was your sort of stuff, if you could vibe with it, then guy, let me know, you know. And if you feel like subscribing, feel free to do so. I'm not going to push it on you. I'm just going to mention it. And that's it for the 401 teardown and the ST400 look inside, I guess, because we didn't have to tear it down. So that's a win in my book, guys. That was a gamble that I took, and it paid off. So I'm going to go ahead and get inside. It's getting cold out here, and I want to warm up my bones, sit by the fireplace, and edit video. So until next time, guys, peace, cheers. Thank you for your time, and follow along. Y'all check out the playlist for some other stuff.